Fringe, ranking the seasons. Hello and welcome to another video. Now this time around I wanted to do a ranking the seasons vid on the sci-fi show Fringe that ran for 5 seasons from 2008 to 2013, starring Anna Torv, Joshua Jackson, John Noble, Jacinta Nicole and Blair Brown, and of course Lance Reddick. There are 5 seasons, so we'll go with number 5. There may be spoilers for those who have not seen this show. 5th place, I'm afraid I have to put season 5. Season 5 is one of the most baffling things I've ever seen put on television, to be honest with you, because it's basically a completely different show from the first 4 seasons that just happens to have the same characters in it. It's like it turns into V or something in the last season, which is really, really peculiar. I've heard some people claim that this was part of the plan from the start. I don't buy this, not least because it completely changes the nature of the observers from what they were anyway. It makes no sense. And I tend to end it with season 4, to be honest. What it feels like to me is, because the show was always it wasn't that popular, it was always kind of on the bubble of renewal or cancellation. I think we have a Babylon 5 situation here, sort of, in the sense that I think they wrapped up the story in season 4 and then unexpectedly got renewed for a 5th season and basically had to pull something out of their ass at the last minute. That's what I think. I'm sorry, some people may not like that take, but I don't like season 5. It's just baffling to me. It's like anyway, it's even worse than season 9 of the X-Files in the sense that, but it's similar in the sense that I just end the X-Files with season 8 because I just don't get it. 4th place. I would have to go. I'm sure this will be controversial. My takes usually are. I'm not trying to be awkward. I just am. 4th place, season 3. I have to be honest. Season 3 was actually kind of where I started watching it. They started playing Fringe on Channel 9 in Australia in like 2009. I think I watched the first bit of some of the first episode. I wasn't that bothered, and a few weeks later it got taken off anyway. I think they shoved it later on, sort of like how Channel 7 treated Buffy. They shoved it late at night eventually, I think. And I kind of watched a bit of season 3, and I was intrigued enough to kind of go back and start watching it from the beginning again via the DVDs. That being said, I have some issues with season 3, not least of the fact the faux Livia stuff goes on way too long, to be honest. I think it's like 8 or 9 episodes or something, and it's too long. It takes up too much of the season, to be honest. And then the constant flitting between the universes from like episode to episode. You're going into a different universe. It's kind of a neat idea. It's also kind of rendered a little bit pointless by the end of the season. So it's like, yeah, I could live without it. I mean, it's cool that we get Charlie back for those episodes, but a lot of the events that happen in them, like I said, are basically undone and reversed by the end of the season anyway. So what was the point? And again, this is where I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect I'm going to be at odds with a lot of Fringe fans. While I like the parallel universe stuff, there's a part of me that just kind of wishes they'd just, stuck with being what season 1 was like, sort of like an updated version of the X-Files, because I kind of like that. Certainly season 3 gets too bogged down in it for my liking. I'm sorry. I'm sure that won't be a popular opinion, but there you go. 3rd place, season 2. Now, while for the most part I would say season 2 is a pretty solid season, Certainly, like the last 2/3 of it, I think are very solid, very generally very good. I have a big problem with the way the season opens, the first third, and particularly the first episode. The first episode of season two is fucking dreadful. I remember watching this for the first time. I'd gone through season one. I'd binged season one on the DVDs. Absolutely loved it. Was raring to go on season two. I nearly stopped watching after one episode of season two. It feels like it's not it feels like a different show in the sense of season five. It just feels so bloody clumsy and weird, and it's like what the hell is going on? It's like, season one got into this cool rhythm. Everything's firing on all cylinders. And then the opening of season two feels really disjointed and weird. It almost feels like a new showrunner has taken over or something. I don't think that is the case, but that opening episode is dreadful, and that's not even mentioning what happens to Charlie, which really pissed me off and still kind of does. Because Charlie was one of my favourite characters in season one, and it's not just that they got rid of him, which was bad enough. I think it was either budget or because they moved the filming location and the actor couldn't do it or something like that. I don't think there was any bad blood, because obviously he comes back kind of recurring a bit later on. But that pissed me off. But the way they did it, I thought was awful. The character deserved better than that. I also wasn't too keen on the shapeshifter plot in general, because it really did feel like a complete wholesale rip-off of the X-Files, to be honest. Like, like I said, and honestly, that opening episode is so bad, it takes a few episodes to kind of get over it, to be honest. None of the next few episodes are as bad as the first, but it takes it about, I don't know, episode 6 or 7 for the show to kind of get back on its feet and get to where we were in season one, and feel like we're back to the same show again, and everyone knows what they're doing again. I don't know what was going on with this at the start of season two. I'm not familiar with the production or behind the scenes or what other fans think actually, but that start to season two is so bad. There had to be something going on. I just don't understand it. Oh, and that's without mentioning Meghan Markle being in it. Whoa, that looks weird now. Anyway, second place, season one. Now, I have heard enough to know that some people don't seem to like season one. They prefer the later seasons because there's a lot of standalone episodes in season one, and they only kind of start drip feeding, a bit like the X-Files. They start to kind of drip feeding little hints of what the big kind of arc is going to be, and only really comes into focus kind of towards the finale. But you see, that's kind of the thing. That's much like the X-Files. That's why I like season one, honestly. Because season one very much feels like the X-Files. It very much feels like an updated, modern, slightly different take on the X-Files. And I'm fine with that. Give me monsters. Give me monsters of the week. I'm absolutely down with that, dude. Give me likable, fun characters dealing with crazy shit every week. That's all I want from a sci-fi horror show. That's really all I need. Yeah, I really like season one. Yeah. I don't think this. I don't to say that I did not like the pilot that much the first time around. I think it's pretty good, and I don't think it takes very long for the show to kind of be very good, be very compulsive viewing, and the cast gel together very quickly. I like season one. It's one of my favorite seasons, and again, it's because I have to say it's because it is just for the most part, it's like a standalone sci-fi show with different stories every week, and I kind of like that. I'm sorry, I know that's not a popular take, but there you go. I'm not a popular person, so there you go. However, my number one favourite season of Fringe, as should be fairly obvious by now, is season 4. I thought season 4 was great. I know it's slightly controversial with some fans because of what happened at the end of season 3 basically kind of changes continuity to a degree, and it's almost like it's a different timeline in season 4. I don't really care. I think what makes season 4 really work for me more than anything else is that it feeds off of what's gone before. You know, you couldn't do season 4 without the previous seasons, and yet in a way it's like a story in itself. Season 3, it's almost like it's almost reminiscent of like a Buffy season, you know, like season 5 or something like that, where it's got its own story arc with a beginning, middle, and apocalyptic kind of end, you know, where the stakes are high and shit is hitting the fan and our heroes have to stop the apocalypse, basically. And I like that structure, and I think it really works. Yeah, season 4's my favourite season of Fringe. I think it really kicks ass on all levels. The only thing I don't like about season 4 is that episode towards the end of the season that's completely irrelevant, that feels kind of dropped in to try and set up season 5. I think that's crap, because I think season 5 is crap, but there you go. But aside from that, season 4 is by far my favourite season of Fringe. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye for now.